Amy, our team leader, looked at me with a brisk smile. Guess you'll introduce yourselves as you work. We don't have time for formalities now, she said. This was my very first job since graduating high school. Then she added lightly, but this is our new team member. She'll be working with us for the time being. As our team prepared to head out into the field, our group was ready, Amy, Reese, me, and him. With him, that was the instant our worlds quietly collided, the delicate spark that marked the beginning of what one might call meet cute. At least, that's how my heart chose to remember it. Well, he wasn't the type to stop you in your tracks or make your heart race wildly at first glance. No butterflies or frantic breaths. I couldn't quite decipher whether he saw me in any special way or another. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I cared. We began our work together in quiet harmony. He and his friend Reese patiently guided me through the tasks, showing me not just what needed to be done, but how, with care and precision. What started as a purely professional exchange gradually blossomed into something warmer, more subtle, an unfolding friendship. I found myself drawn more to Reese than to him. Reese was the kind of person who spoke little, yet when he did, his words were like a rare, delightful melody. Playful, charming, with a delicate grace almost like a muse, Reese was captivating to watch and impossible not to listen to. But destiny, as if guided by unseen hands, drew me closer to him with each passing moment, weaving a silent thread between our souls. Want to hear something wild? I whispered, a mischievous spark lighting my eyes. Always, he replied, his voice steady yet warm. With a quiet breath, I held his gaze and confessed, I don't even know your name. Relief softened his features, and he laughed gently. You took forever to say that. I was bracing myself for something unimaginable. And with that serious, unreadable face, what were you planning? To curse my name? A smile curved my lips. All right then, he said softly, call me Hugo. Hugo, and your friend? The slyness in my voice betrayed my curiosity about the other who had captured my glance. You mean Reese? Hugo's eyes twinkled. Yes, Reese, I murmured, stealing a glance, a name as gentle and captivating as the person it belonged to. He is Reese, Hugo said, amused. What's with the surprise? And you, miss, your name remains a mystery. Call me Abigail, I breathed. So, Abby? Hugo teased playfully. Don't, I parried. We're not that close. Harsh, but honest, he chuckled. Wait. Hey Reese, Hugo called. What's up? Reese answered. Ever wondered her name? Hugo asked, eyes sparkling. Never caught it, Reese admitted with a grin. Then call her Abby, Hugo declared, mischief in his tone. I rolled my eyes, caught between amusement and affection. In their company, time folded in on itself, laughter and stories painting the hours with light. Knowing them was effortless, as natural as breathing, so much so that phone numbers slipped quietly into the background, unneeded. We completed the assigned field task and returned to the office to finalize the necessary documentation. The room buzzed with laughter, a blur of voices and playful jests swirling through the air. In that haze of joy and distraction, the small error took its chance. Slipped by, quiet and unnoticed. Amy inquired about my progress. Her voice broke through the quiet room like a sudden storm, sharp and restless. Oh my God, Abigail, what were you thinking? Who said to number them all at once? You should have separated them first, then labeled each by its own level. Now, what on earth are we supposed to do with these? Her frustration stung more than I expected. Before she could continue, Hugo stepped forward, his tone soft but steady, heavy with empathy. Amy, he said, meeting her eyes briefly before glancing my way, I don't think Abigail meant to. She's still new, still finding her pace. Maybe, we should have shown her properly first. Reese nodded beside him, his voice calm but earnest. He's right. If anyone's at fault, it's all of us. We should have guided her better. We're sorry. A faint heat climbed my neck. I lowered my gaze, struck by the quiet strength of their defense. It wasn't just their words, it was the way they said them, as though protecting me came naturally. My embarrassment twisted with something warmer, unspoken, and dangerously soft. Amy hesitated, the tension from her face softening into reflection. Maybe you're right, she said at last. I should have made sure she knew the basics. But Abigail, you should have asked if you were unsure. I nodded, my voice barely above a whisper. You're right, and I'm sorry, truly. Amy sighed, offering a faint smile. All right, I'll let this one slide. But you'll have to redo them, one by one. The ones you did before can't be used. Thank you, I murmured, gratitude flooding through me. It won't happen again. She returned to her desk, leaving me in quiet determination. I had just begun sorting through the files when Hugo's voice brushed my ear like a gentle breeze. Need a hand? Reese chuckled, pulling a chair closer. Guess we're in this together. I blinked, caught between disbelief and a sudden rush of warmth. What are they doing to me? My heart shouldn't race like this, and yet it does. But wait, don't they have some work to wrap up first? I gazed at them, my thoughts drifting softly toward their presence. My eyes blinked, caught between quiet protest and gentle surrender. Oh no, you don't have to. I whispered, but Hugo interrupted with a knowing smile. Oh. You really think we left our tasks unfinished just to help you? Curiosity sparkled in my eyes, as if silently wishing it might be true. Hugo glanced toward Reese and murmured, she actually thinks we do. Reese met my eyes with a soft, amused chuckle. Cute, he said warmly. Perhaps it was my youth, but that simple word sent waves of excitement echoing through my heart, leaving it both pounding and unsettled. No, sweetie, we finished ours long ago, Reese assured gently, we're just waiting for the work hours to end. We are seniors, remember? Hugo added a playful smirk. I smiled, quietly conceding, I suppose you are. The atmosphere shifted slower, quieter, yet charged with an unspoken energy. As they sat beside me, working and smiling, they infused the otherwise dull room with something quietly beautiful. In that moment, I understood, perhaps this is what friendship truly feels like. The kind that stays when you least expect it, the kind that fills your heart so full it almost aches. Surrounded by scattered papers and the soft hum of pencils, we immersed ourselves in work, the hours slipping by unnoticed until Amy's voice broke the silence. Time's up, she announced gently. I guess we'll see each other tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful night, everyone. With care, we wrapped the documents and stored them safely where they would be ready for the morning. As we prepared to depart, we stepped out of the office together, our footsteps aligned as we walked in the same direction. In that moment, my heart fluttered with hope, envisioning a shared path ahead. But that beautiful daydream was abruptly interrupted, shattered by the sound of his voice. So, Abby, Hugo said softly, his tone carrying a hint of finality, you're going to keep walking that way, right? Yes, I replied, unsure why his question suddenly felt heavy. Why? He gave me a faint, melancholy smile. Because this is where we say goodbye. Placing a gentle hand on Reese's shoulder, he nodded toward the path ahead. As for us, we'll take the other way. My heart hollowed out, a quiet ache blooming inside me as if something truly precious had just been taken away. With a wavering laugh, part amusement, part hidden envy, and part heartbreak, I teased, so, you are almost going the same direction? Hugo, eyes glowing with tenderness. No, sweetheart, he said softly, it's more like living side by side, house to house. It wasn't fair, but fate rarely was. I forced a small smile. Well then, I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Reese stepped closer, his presence warm and steady. His gaze locked gently with mine. If you need anything, he murmured, voice low and kind, don't ever hesitate to reach out, all right? I could only nod, shy and speechless, lost in his tone more than his words. Seeing the fluster in my face, he smiled and let out a warm chuckle. You're welcome, he whispered, almost as if reading my unspoken thoughts. Then they turned down their path together, and I kept walking my own, each step echoing the quiet ache of parting, until I finally reached home, carrying both the sadness and the secret warmth of his smile. Ruby, my sister, never ceased to pester me about how my day had unfolded. She was restless, perhaps because she had been the one originally scheduled to handle the task I ended up taking on. Fate, however, had other plans. While Ruby was tied down with her own urgent job, I found myself stepping into one that desperately needed an extra pair of hands, a role that was unfamiliar yet crucial. The assignment was straightforward but vital. As long as you possessed computer skills, could organize documents efficiently, and collect data accurately, you were the perfect fit. Thus, I became the data entry clerk at the hospital. This was a post-pandemic world, a mere 2 years after COVID-19 had shaken the entire globe. Although the worst had seemingly passed, the shadows of the pandemic still lingered in the corridors of healthcare institutions. Our team bore the responsibility of supporting vaccination efforts. We meticulously entered personal information and vaccination details into computerized systems, each keystroke a small but significant act in the larger fight against the virus. This experience was more than just about data entry, it was about being part of a monumental chapter in public health history. A moment when ordinary skills met extraordinary circumstances, and where behind-the-scenes diligence helped protect communities from a relentless invisible enemy. For Ruby's sake, I took a deep breath and began to share everything. The mistakes I made, the moments I won't forget, and those 2 incredibly sweet friends I found along the way. After hearing it all, she simply asked, with a hint of curiosity, "Who is Hugo? What's his story?" Her question caught me off guard. The whole story, really, is about him, from beginning to end. I fell silent, my mind wandering. I asked myself quietly, is that true? I don't know. Maybe it's because he speaks so much more. She sighed softly and said, I suppose I should get going. You're no fun. Seems like not much happened after all. As I watched her walk away, a quiet thought settled in me, a challenge left behind to understand why Hugo's voice is the one that echoes loudest, when deep down, I'm certain my own little charmer deserves to be heard just as clearly. Maybe something was there from the very start, a gentle force pulling me in little by little, without me even noticing. I took my time getting everything ready for tomorrow morning before heading to bed. As night fell, I thought about how mornings usually come early, and I prefer to stay cozy in my sleep, whether it's school or work. But this time, I was actually excited for what's coming. When I got there, I was almost first, arrived early, unlike my usual self who's always running behind. Soon enough, the others showed up, Reese and Hugo walking in at the same time, their faces lighting up when they saw me. It felt like they were just as happy to see me, and honestly, that made me smile. We got ourselves ready to head out for the day, riding together in the same car. I found out that both of them just graduated high school like me and are already dreaming about colleges outside the city. They talked about their plans and where they want to go, chasing after those big dreams. As for me, I already knew I'd stay close to home, working to support my parents, after missing out on a scholarship. Spent a month with them and honestly, it was worth it. Movies, lunch dates, game nights, just the kind of stuff friends do when the moments feel easy. But, like everything in life, the good moments somehow come with a side of sadness. One morning, the sun was bright and the breeze was light. I woke up feeling a little lighter too. Singing in the shower, dancing on a whim, and the walk to work suddenly didn't feel so long or so dull. I believed in that feeling, like something good was just around the corner. Then, he didn't show up. You're alone today. That's a rare sight. Where is he? I asked. In that quiet space, I found myself there with Hugo alone, the one my heart whispered for. Was nowhere to be found. Who? Hugo asked. I shot at him a look that said, better start talking or else. Whoa, chuckle, chill. He's not coming, Hugo said like it was no big deal. Why not? I asked. Man, he's one of the coldest punks I know. Didn't tell you? He found another job. Gone for good, sorry. Suddenly, it felt as if an invisible hand had unclipped my spine, leaving me slumped with quiet disbelief. I forced a smile, masking the ache. Why should I feel sorry? It's not like he was my boyfriend or anything. Then Hugo caught me by surprise, wrapped me in a hug and rubbed my hair teasingly. Like I didn't know you had a crush on him, he teased with a grin. I was taken aback. How could he have seen through my careful mask? I had tried so hard to hide it. Who, me? I replied, pointing at myself with an awkward laugh. Nah, who told you? He smiled knowingly. No one needed to tell me, it was written all over your face. Then, with a playful flick of his middle finger against my head, he added, and I have eyes, you dummy. Defeated, I felt the flicker of unease. What if Hugo had confided in him? Holding my breath, I leaned closer, voice barely above a whisper. Does he know? Did you tell him? I asked, heart pounding. He chuckled softly. Relax. Wow, you're really wound up. Sweet, I'm not the talkative type, and since day one, that fool's had a girlfriend. He doesn't notice or care about anyone else's feelings. So stop stressing. His calm steadied the hurricane within. Without realizing it, my lips brushed his right cheek, soft, fleeting, a kiss born from relief. You are the best, I whispered, suddenly aware of what I'd done. Pulling away, blushing deeply, I stammered, oh, my. I didn't mean to. I was swept away for a moment. I'm really sorry. He looked surprised but masked it well, playing it cool like it was nothing at all. No, it's okay, he said lightly, you were just happy, that's all. Yet, I searched his eyes and found only shyness. It was evident to me despite his attempt to conceal it. But, that fleeting tenderness vanished, overridden by the truth he revealed. So, he does have a girlfriend, huh? I asked, voice heavy. His mind seemed elsewhere, lost in thought. Girlfriend. Yeah, right, girlfriend, he murmured, did I say that? Almost forgetting his own words. I nodded and then, as if to deepen the ache he had just carved into my heart, he had the audacity to whisper, yep. 2 years, actually. A new ache pulsed deep within me. In that quiet moment, a decision crystallized, this crush, this fragile longing for another man's heart, would have to end. I was going to let him go, let go of the shadow of love tied to someone already claimed. And so Reese quietly slipped beyond the frame of my life, leaving only Hugo and me, stranded in a world that suddenly felt hollow. Hugo, a name I should have held with caution, a name I should have questioned in the shadows of my heart, had become an unwelcome storm stirring chaos in my soul. Ow. You look so fragile, as if your heart aches for him. Did you truly care that deeply? Shall I whisper where he vanished? Hugo teased lightly, but I danced around the question, unwilling to tether my thoughts to where he was or what he had become. For I carried within me a quiet strength. Once my resolve was set, no tide of longing could pull me back. I think it's time to leave. Come with me. And with those words, I fled, swift as the wind fleeing the storm, escaping from him, from the memories, and from the questions I refused to answer. Whenever Hugo sought to reopen that chapter, I wove a new story, a fragile veil to shield my fragile heart from the past's lingering ache. With Hugo alone, I had feared this chapter of our journey might edge toward dullness. Yet, to my surprise, it unfolded with a quiet joy and seamless grace. Everything we once did as a trio carried the same rhythm, but with just two, the moment struck a different, special in its own way. Slowly, the ache I once felt for Reese began to fade away, replaced with each precious minute spent beside Hugo, even though that too was fleeting. I remember that last day we were together before our time working together came to an end. Hugo invited me to spend some extra time since the job finished early, and I happily agreed. We slipped through unfamiliar streets, his hand a gentle compass guiding me into new worlds. Laughter spilled freely, a soft river as we danced under invisible spotlights, played our beloved games, and at last, returned to the quiet refuge of his home. There, wrapped in the hush of the movie's glow, perfect stillness held us, until a kiss, unexpected and tender, blossomed upon the screen. We locked eyes, both caught by surprise. Blinks slowed, breaths deepened, and hearts pounded a wild rhythm I hadn't known I'd feel from him before, nervous, vulnerable, and electric. He leaned in slowly, his face inches from mine, ready to close the distance, ready to kiss me. In that suspended moment, I hesitated, torn between surrender and retreat, unsure what to do, confused and searching for an answer. Just as his lips brushed near, I shut my eyes tightly, hands trembling, poised to pull away, and that is when salvation came softly in my mother's call. Glancing at the time, almost 10 p.m. It was as if fate had granted me a pause, a breath to catch before the moment could unfold. My mother was always strict and deeply concerned when it came to a girl staying out late, especially past 8 p.m. Panic surged through me like wildfire. I sprang up too quickly, trembling with fear, my mind in a whirl as I whispered to him, "What am I going to do? Mom will surely be furious, and it's nearly 10 o'clock. I think I must go." My voice quivered, close to breaking, as if tears would spill at any moment. God, where is my bag? I searched frantically, as if the world had frozen around me. My phone, where is my phone? Hugo watched me intently, then suddenly laughed. I fixed him with a sharp glare. Is this funny to you? Seeing me like this, can't you offer any help at all? In that moment, I wished for him to vanish along with my lost things. Oh, Abby, breathe, he said softly. Rising with my bag in hand, he approached and took my trembling fingers, revealing my phone held gently within. See? You were searching for what you already held. His hands warmed my cheeks as he urged me, relax. It's not even that late. And even if it were, we can craft an excuse once you've calmed yourself, all right? His words settled over me like a soothing balm, and a flicker of reassurance sparked within. So, what do we do now? I asked. He drew me closer, settling me onto the couch where we had sat before, a quiet refuge amidst my storm.